You're watching Smart Means Business, and this is Smart 24 TV. Your daily Kickstarter is SMB to give you business outlets. As we view all these that matters, just to quickly remind you that you can run onto our social media, Twitter, Smart24TV, Facebook, Smart24TV Official, Instagram is Smart24_TV. Then the website is www.smart24.tv. But also to remember, you can get us onto our YouTube channel, Smart24TV Live, where we are streaming live. But well, besides that kind of situation, we are now heading to the SMB Insight as we look at the revival or the road to the revival of cooperative banks in the country, as there is dire need of mobilization of people and capital. And of course, this is something that should be taking us back to the good old days. Let's have it with the SMB Insight.
Cooperatives world over have played a significant role in mobilizing, organizing, and empowering farmers or communities for their socio-economic development. Here in Uganda, I didn't have a fortunate in my adult life to study and learn their contribution, but I have had testimonies of how cooperative movement and the cooperative bank. By the time I was joining high school, I think the cooperative bank here, Uganda Cooperative Bank, had collapsed. And so I have own experiences of people making statements on how useful it was. But we can borrow experience from other countries where cooperatives do exist. We, first and foremost, a cooperative model is a model of resource pooling. You have, I love the phrase the President Museveni used recently of collective wealth. He used it at some point, collective wealth, in which we create a common pool of resources, mobilize these resources amongst ourselves, and then put it in an institution that we own, and then this institution enables us to develop our households and individuals. So it is a model that has proved successful in different, including here from what we read in literature. So in many ways, may I commend, if possible, I want to speak like Nicole Machiavelli. Machiavelli says a prince should do good when it's possible and use extra measures when it is necessary. So I would think it is, if possible, a cooperative bank model to serve one purpose, giving productive households cheap and long-term money to enable them engage in economic activities. It would be very good. Income farmers. We would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the head of state. Under NDP 3, National Development Plan 3, it is where the implementation of the parish development model came into force. For the last 13 years, but more specifically the last 9 years, President Museveni has been focused on commercialization of subsistence farmers through Operation Wealth Creation. And it is during this process, though the process of parish development model championed by General Salim Sade began in 2005 and below, but it is through the NDP3 that the President has come forward to implement the parish development model, focusing on transformation of subsistence farmers from subsistence, chidachoka, to commercial farmers. And he has dedicated per parish 100 million as money intended to empower through their own enterprise circles, smallholder farmers access this money for a number of things, but more importantly, inputs for production. This is interest-free money rotating around the farmers at that level. It's specifically focused on enabling subsistence farmers. Now, you asked me, that is for low income. Then the middle income, right now, The second vote of thanks for me as a president of the farmers goes to the Minister of Agriculture, but still it is the head of state whose vision is commercialization of agriculture to enable income improvement at household level, job creation at national level, and food security and sustainability. So he has put a window of promotion of commercial farmers. So through the Ministry of Agriculture, we are now as UNIFE in partnership. We are going to actually launch this partnership on Wednesday. A partnership in which we are providing commercial farmers that would be supported, one, for commercial production with mechanization and inputs and the like, but also with revolving fund. I would call it a revolving fund because you are given, once identified as a commercial farmer, you're given money based on the needs that you have, and then you use this money for production with a certain period, depending on the enterprise. Then you return the money which is going to be used by another commercial farmer to enable them clear land, buy machines, etc. The criteria is under evolving. So in my opinion, so those are two channels so far, but there is also the third channel, which the president emphasizes. The third channel is the channel of Uganda Development Bank. Uganda Development Bank is capitalized to 1 trillion, to the level of 1.5 trillion, I think. I can verify the facts before you start. 1.1 trillion is aimed at agro-industrialization.
Are we still in the middle income?
I'm indicating the available money. Now, the only money that is unique is the parish development model money. But the other money, and that is intended for subsistence farmer. The other money that is in UDB, that is agriculture credit facility, that is under the Ministry of Agriculture that we are going to launch very soon. That money is for able commercial farmers who are scaling up to achieve agro-industrialization, job creation, and food security.
Okay. So we are still on the medium income.
Yes,
Do you
yes.
have any strategy for high end?
The high end window is with the Development Bank of Uganda, Uganda Development Bank. That's why the 1 trillion every budget period, this bank is capitalized to support the commercial farmers that are involved in agro-industrialization, and that's exactly where they are. One of the banking sector, the bank, to establish a bank is a very complex process. It is not an idea that you wake up and then accumulate the necessary capital and then you consolidate it into a bank. First and foremost, to be a cooperative bank that is funded by the people involves mobilization of those people to put together their money, to put together the capital. You need the consensus of all the members. You need the consensus of all the regions to come together because it has to have branches here and there. Now, this effort, I don't know, but as far as I've been a president of the farmers, I have not seen a consistent effort for mobilization of capital to establish a bank, number one. Number two, if you are saying it's a public good that should be provided by government, government has been using different channels to support financing of agriculture sector, and this has accumulated lessons, and which lessons now are the ones using like the parish development model money through Farmers Circle as a new model that brings money closer to the farmers, not necessarily in bank branches. Brick and mortar banks means that you have to have a headquarters of the bank, a regional branches, but this model of parish development model money, it goes directly to the farmer and their circle. So as a scholar, I'm excited about don't have what you need, and you are given the little that they can give, I think you should be appreciative. I am not an expert on rights, but what I know is the need. And let me go to your specific question. Is there need for a cooperative bank? Yes. Why? Because there is a need for cheap money to produce, and the available money is insufficient to help farmers produce productively to earn large income, to enjoy scale economies. That's why you see SACCOs, they don't collapse, even if they are charging 36%. There is no justification for 3% per month. There is not even a justification for 24%, 2% per month. There is no justification even for 12% in the agricultural sector, because we don't have an enterprise that has a return of 12% per annum. I would like to be proved wrong. We don't have it. I do dairy farming, and I look at the cost of producing a liter is between 450 and 600, and I sell my liter at 700. 700 out of 100 out of 700 is how much? Of 600. That is not even, so it is a struggling business. And the struggling business now needs cheap money. Money is an input in every business. Yeah. And if an input within a business is higher in cost than what you get in return, then you will never be successful.
All right, you're welcome on to Smart Means Business again, and here now we're clocking into our story review with Rona Nahabo joining us this morning on set, looking at what is happening and what to be prepared for. Rona Nahabo, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Okay, and this morning, what are you working on? What should the viewers expect tonight?
Okay, so my story for today follows the announcement I saw on a blog of East African that Uganda has cancelled its contract with a Chinese firm of the SGR. That's about contract that was worth $2.2 billion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So it has cancelled that, and it is opting, or it is already in the pipeline for another contract with a Turkish company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So besides the same situation, this takes us back to the issue to do with Uganda's SGR. What I do know so far is that Kenya has its SGR operating. And of course, the former president made sure that happens. I think that takes us back to the reason as to why Uganda had to cancel this one, because ours is not yet operational. We are literally having the old meter gauge rail.
Yeah, maybe to also supplement on that, Tanzania also recently received a loan to finish the financing of its SGR. So literally we're the only ones in East Africa left with an unfunded project. This is after 8 years of signing this contract with the Chinese firm. Yes, so I think these guys just had to find out for another option, you know. And I want to bring this back to debt sufficiency. Rumor has it that Kenya and Uganda does not have the ability to bring in or to have investor confidence from these investors because of their inability to finance debts.
Okay.
So if a country is not, putting itself there that it can sustain this type of money, because $2.2 billion is a lot of money.
Yes.
Yes. So the investor confidence is really low, and I think that's why inside. That's why the China, I think, cancelled. Of course, they cancelled inside themselves, and then Uganda announced after, of course, 8 years of not cancelling. And we also remember last year when His Excellency, that's the president of Uganda, announced to put the financing of the SGR to other open financiers, because the progress had frustrated him. There was nothing that was moving. So he announced that this SGR is on the market for any capable funders of the project.
Well, I think as you were mentioning about here, last week, as Brenda Howard actually highlighted, that this information came out that Uganda cancelled that agreement with the Chinese firm looking into the Turkish authorities. I did mention on the show last week that we shall be getting a follow-up on that report deeper, and that is one of the reasons as to why Ronald Howard is here, to give us more of what she will be executing. And in tonight's bulletin, you will get to at least understand the entire picture behind why Uganda had to choose for the Turkish instead of any other country, to at least see that the standard gauge rally takes center stage. Also, to remind you that the standard gauge rally that was supposed to be with the Chinese farm was supposed to link up with that in Kenya. The one in Kenya starts from the port of Mombasa till the Naivasha County. Now from Naivasha, it goes back to the meter gauge rally, where apparently, just like Ronald said, that in most cases you get to realize that the funds at the time were off it. And of course, Kenya is still now financing that particular debt it took from the Exim Bank of China to ensure that the standard gauge rally does take center stage. But remember, the SGR are supposed to connect till the Malaba one border post, and that is when Uganda had to actually get its own SGR from Malaba, from the border of Malaba till Kampala. So the Turkish firm is actually coming in to replace the Chinese who failed to execute it, and that means their contract was cancelled. What next should we know about this entire
Okay,
deal?
we should also know what entailed in that contract. We do know that they were only contracted to finish the first phase of the SGR. That is about 273 kilometers of the SGR.
Okay.
So it was not really full. So we should also know why exactly they opt for the Turkish, like you mentioned, and then also progress of the meter gauge rally. I recently saw that they have received funds on financing, because when the Minister of Finance was tasked, to explain why are we not making progress, they mentioned that much of the effort has been put on the meter gauge rally within, of course, that one is within the country, I guess. So progress of the meter gauge rally. If the effort is in the meter gauge rally, then how much have we attained so far? Because if there is, at least maybe we could give it a benefit of the doubt that we have made progress somewhere else.
Okay, and of course the issue to do with maintenance as well. So Ron and Harbour will be working upon that particular report, so you should be looking forward to seeing it tonight in Business Today. So keep it Smart 24 TV for more business updates coming up, and Ron and Harbour will be giving you more details regarding that particular deal with the Turkish farms and Uganda's journey to the standard gauge rally.